The Barnstable High School Military Support Club, as well as veterans from Barnstable, gathered today at the Barnstable Senior Center in honor of Memorial Day to remember those lost, as well as share history. In a yearly tradition of bringing together veterans and students, the Barnstable Senior Center hosted the Intergenerational Breakfast. Veterans and students spent time talking, sharing stories, and getting to know one another.
One of the most meaningful things about this event, and the reason why we continue to do it year after year, is to have the opportunity to see the students and the veterans engage. And meaningful is the word, because to hear the level of conversation that takes place, and I think just the showing of respect, from the students to the veterans and vice versa, it really is a very interactive, engaging opportunity, not just for the students to learn about the veterans and the sacrifices they made and the experiences they went through and the friends and brothers that they lost during wartime. I think it also serves a purpose to help the older generation see that, the younger generation does truly hold a lot of respect for them. And I think sometimes we do take it for granted, the freedom that we have today. And it's really important to have moments and opportunities to reflect that the sacrifices that these veterans made for us and the time that they served is what allows us to have that freedom today, and not to forget about that. And also, given that it's Memorial Day, it's so important for us to remember those veterans that didn't make it home and did give the ultimate sacrifice. This event, we do a lot of special events at the Senior Center. I will say, for the staff, this one I think really does hold the deepest meaning and value. There's a window in time right now, and year after year we see fewer World War II veterans come back, fewer Korean War veterans, and with so many of them passing away, there's not a whole lot of time for this kind of conversation to take place. We're very excited that as time has gone on, we've had more Vietnam veterans joining us at this event, and I think that really, means a lot to us that we've been able to engage them to come and talk about what they went through. I think really looking at the event, to me, it's a living history lesson. And I think that's so important. I mean, sometimes you have to read a textbook for a school project. It doesn't come alive as much as sitting in a room at a table having a one-on-one conversation with a veteran that actually lived through, an experience. And I think the students really do leave feeling a lot more aware and understanding and respectful.
Well, both of my grandfathers were in the military services. One was in the Coast Guard and one was in the Air Force. So I grew up hearing their stories, and so I think it's important for our community to really honor the people who made so many sacrifices. Well, it's one thing to read in your history book about what happened in the war. It's another thing to hear personal experiences. So I think it's been really great to speak with our veterans. I hope that this experience introduces members of our club to community service, and maybe if they have a positive experience, which I think I can speak for the club that everyone has, maybe this will open doors to more community service for our students.
Some veterans were given the opportunity to share stories, poems, and even thoughts with the group.
If you've ever been to a grave, you can see coins on top of the grave that explain what those coins were. And if you go and visit a veteran, you put a penny down, it means that you came to visit. If you joined the service and went to boot camp with that person, you put down a nickel. If you served with him during the time of war, you put down a dime. And if you were with him at the time of his death during the war, you would leave a quarter. So hence the coins that are left on the graves, which I didn't know, and I thought I'd share with you today.
The Air Force. 4 years. I went in 1966. I was in Japan for 2 years. Then I was in Korea when I took the Port Row. Then I went to Vietnam. And I was over there for 4 years, and I read Stars and Stripes. And you'd read about all the turmoil back home, people against the war, the demonstrations. And when you're a soldier over there, you're kind of isolated, but I didn't know what to think of the United States. I was there when Bobby Kennedy got shot, Martin Luther King got shot. And I came back. My brother had tickets to the Red Sox game. And I thought I should still be back there, you know, that every soldier and veteran knows what it is to leave your friends. So I'm at the Red Sox game and the Star Spangled Banner was being played. My mind, I thought it was going to be fights, screams, people. I didn't know what to think. I looked around, and everybody had their hand on their heart. So what people see in the media isn't always what's true. What they make things out to be. The country was really behind us, but as you know, Vietnam vets weren't looked upon too well. But I gotta say, seeing all you young people here today, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You don't know how much it means to veterans. Thank you.
Those of you who are in high school, bless you, you've got the whole world ahead of you. You look at us veterans, and there are a whole bunch of old guys. But I was 18 when I was in the Navy. I was 21 when I came out. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was an incident I remembered from Okinawa. It took me some 68 to 70 years to put it to paper. It's a poem. And it's called Okinawa, 1945. That's 71 years ago. And the poem goes like this. The battle was over. The survivors had moved on to the next hill and the next. The trees were shattered, splintered, burned. Their twisted trunks looked like black and white negatives against a full color background. We started down the slope and saw a native hut, surprisingly still quite intact. But as we approached this native hut, we came across 3 bodies, a man, a woman, and a child. A family simply living alone in what had become a battle zone. No way of knowing did they hide or why they dared to step outside, but across their doorstep, side by side, this is where that family died. Not their choice to live or die, just that they were home when the war went by.